Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into one of the most emotional and controversial confessions in recent Turkish celebrity history, a story that shook fans, critics, and the entertainment world to its core. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the join button to support the channel further. Now, let's get into the full story. A confession that shook the industry. Celebrities often seem untouchable, wrapped in luxury, confidence, and the perfect image of happiness. Yet sometimes, a single sentence can shatter that illusion and reveal the pain hidden behind the fame. That's exactly what happened when Yağmur Yüksel, one of Turkey's most talked about actresses, spoke out in an interview that was meant to be light and intimate. In that interview, she admitted something that immediately ignited a storm across television shows, online portals, and social media platforms. "I asked Gülüm Baktaş to give me her baby." The line, delivered with visible emotion, instantly became the focal point of public debate. Within hours, hashtags with her name dominated Twitter, Instagram, and even international gossip outlets. Was it a heartfelt cry or an unacceptable demand? To understand the full magnitude of this moment, we need to revisit the complicated past between Yağmur Yüksel, Baris Baktaş, and Gülüm Baktaş. A love that ended too soon. Years ago, Yağmur and Baris shared a romance that was as passionate as it was fragile. Their relationship captured headlines and filled tabloids with photographs of laughter, vacations, and red carpet appearances. Yet despite the glamour, it ended suddenly and painfully, leaving Yağmur heartbroken. Not long after, Baris began a new life with Gülüm Baktaş. Their relationship was quieter, but it led to marriage and, eventually, the birth of a child. For Baris, this was a fresh start. For Yağmur, however, it reopened old wounds that had never truly healed. In the interview, she admitted, "When I heard Baris was going to be a father, I felt as though my world collapsed." Those feelings of grief and loss reached their peak during a chance meeting in a hospital, the scene that has since become one of the most debated moments in Turkish entertainment. The hospital encounter. According to Yağmur's own account, she crossed paths with Gülüm at the hospital shortly after the baby's birth. Overcome with raw emotion, tears streaming down her face, she uttered the words that would later echo through every media outlet in the country. "Give me that baby." She clarified later that it was never meant as an actual demand, nor an attack on Gülüm. Instead, it was, in her words, a desperate cry for what I had lost. The baby represented not only Baris' new life, but the dreams Yağmur once had of building a future with him. "I wasn't asking for a child," she explained. "I was asking for the return of my history with Baris. For the chance to have the life I imagined." The avalanche of reactions. Public response was immediate and divided. Some people empathized, calling her brave for exposing such vulnerability. They argued that grief and heartbreak often drive people to express feelings in ways that sound irrational but are deeply human. Others, however, condemned her words. To them, involving a child in her pain crossed an unacceptable line. "It's one thing to suffer," one commentator wrote online, but another to place the burden of that suffering on an innocent baby. Social media erupted in hashtags like #YağmurConfession, #StrengthYağmur, and even #Gülüm Baktaş, as millions debated whether the actress's statement was a moment of honesty or a scandalous misstep. Media frenzy and expert analysis. Television programs, morning shows, and primetime talk shows dedicated entire segments to dissecting the confession. Psychologists, image consultants, and celebrity columnists were invited to give their views. Many psychologists stressed that her words should not be taken literally. When someone is experiencing the grief of lost love, one family therapist explained, they may express themselves in symbolic terms. She wasn't asking for the child, she was asking for the return of what the child represented, a lost dream. This perspective softened some of the criticism, transforming the narrative from scandal to tragedy. Viewers began to see Yağmur not as a celebrity crossing boundaries, but as a woman exposing her deepest vulnerability in public. The silence of Gülüm Baktaş. While Yağmur's confession dominated the headlines, Gülüm Baktaş chose silence. She made no public statements and avoided social media, refusing to feed the frenzy. Friends close to her revealed that she was focused solely on her newborn and on maintaining peace in her family life. One anonymous source commented, "Of course it hurt her, but her priority is her child. She doesn't want to be dragged into arguments." For some, her silence was a sign of strength and maturity. For others, it left too much unanswered and only fueled more speculation about how she really felt. Baris Baktaş caught in the middle. The third key figure in this story, Baris Baktaş, has also avoided public appearances since the controversy began. Yet insiders suggest he has been quietly trying to mediate. Reports claim he has reached out privately to both women, seeking to calm tensions and protect his son from becoming the center of a media circus. Baris wants peace, one journalist explained. He doesn't want his son to grow up in the shadow of constant controversy. This behind-the-scenes role contrasts sharply with the silence he maintains in public, leaving fans curious about where his loyalties truly lie. A debate larger than celebrity drama. What began as a shocking soundbite soon evolved into a national debate about grief, motherhood, and the boundaries of fame. Women's magazines analyzed the confession as a symbol of the invisible wounds carried after a breakup. Discussion forums debated whether celebrities should be judged more harshly for exposing their private emotions in public. The controversy highlighted how fame magnifies every word and gesture. For Yağmur, it was a reminder that a single confession could spark weeks of headlines, thousands of opinion pieces, and endless online debates. Where does the story go from here? Weeks later, the storm has not completely faded. Yağmur has attempted to clarify her words, emphasizing that it was not a literal request, but a cry of pain. By reframing her confession, she has won back some sympathy and admiration for daring to reveal such raw emotion. Meanwhile, Gülüm remains silent, and Baris continues to focus on his family. But fans are watching closely, waiting for any new development or statement that might add to this complex triangle. What is certain is that this story has already left its mark. It is no longer just a celebrity anecdote, it is a cultural moment that exposed the fragile, emotional side of stardom and reminded the public that even stars are not immune to heartbreak. Closing words. So, what do you think? Was Yağmur's confession a legitimate cry from the heart, or did she cross a boundary that should never be crossed? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your voice is part of this discussion too. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the join button if you'd like to support us even more. Stay tuned for the next story, take care of yourselves, and goodbye for now.